Hello, young bakers. Are you aspiring to put up your own baking business? Well, you should know how to make a costing for your baked products so that you will determine the price list and also the profit that you will earn from your business. So, let us now learn how to costing for your baked products. Now, we are going to use as example the recipe of the dinner roll. According to the recipe, the following ingredients are 125 grams of bread flour, 5 grams or 1 teaspoon of yeast, 1 piece of egg, 130 ml or 1/4 cup of evaporated milk, 15 grams or 1 tablespoon of sugar, 3 grams of salt, which is equivalent of 1/4 teaspoon, and 22.5 grams of butter, which is equivalent of 1/10 bar of butter. And here is the example of market list price of dinner roll ingredients. We have 1,000 grams or equivalent of 1 kilogram of bread flour. It costs 55 pesos. 500 grams or equivalent of 1/2 kilograms of yeast costs of 150 pesos. Egg costs of 8 pesos per piece. Evaporated milk with 154 ml is equivalent of 1 small can cost of 23 pesos. 250 grams or 1/4 kilogram of sugar cost of 20 pesos. 150 grams per pack salt cost of 15 pesos. 225 grams per bar of butter cost of 57.50. And to determine the price for a small unit of ingredients, we're going to divide the market price over quantity. For example, bread flour, 55 pesos divided by 1,000 grams is equals to 0.055 centavos per grams. For the yeast, 150 pesos divided by 500 grams is equals to 0.30 centavos per grams. For the egg, 1 piece of egg is equivalent of 8 pesos. For the evaporated milk, 23 pesos divided by 154 ml is equals to 0.149 centavos of milk per milliliter. For the sugar, 20 pesos divided by 250 grams is equals to 0.08 per grams of sugar. For the salt, 15 pesos divided by 150 grams is equals to 0.10 centavos per grams of salt. For the butter, 57.50 per bar divided by 225 grams is equals to 0.25 centavos per gram of butter. Now we're going to identify the cost of ingredients of dinner roll. Always remember, the amount for ingredients always depends on its quantity. The formula: price per small unit multiply unit required by recipe is equals the amount per unit. Let's have an example. Bread flour. The bread flour costs 0.055 centavos. The recipe requires 125 grams. We're going to multiply 0.055 and 125 grams equals 6.87 pesos, meaning the cost of bread flour in 125 grams is 6.87. Next is the yeast. The yeast costs 0.30 centavos per gram. And the recipe requires 5 grams. We're going to multiply 0.30 centavos and 5 grams equals 1 pesos and 50 centavos, meaning every 5 grams of yeast costs 1 pesos and 50 centavos. Next, the egg. The egg costs 8 pesos per piece. Next, the evaporated milk. The evaporated milk costs 0.149 centavos per milliliter. And the recipe requires 130 milliliter. We're going to multiply 1.49 centavos and 130 milliliter equals 19.37 pesos, meaning every 130 milliliter of evaporated milk costs 19.37 pesos. Next, the sugar. The sugar costs 0.08 centavos per gram. To get the amount of sugar, we're going to multiply 0.08 and 15 grams equals 1.20 pesos, meaning every 15 grams costs 1 pesos and 20 centavos. Next is the salt. The salt costs 10 centavos per gram. The recipe requires 3 grams, meaning we're going to multiply 10 centavos and 3 grams equals 30 centavos, meaning every 3 grams costs 30 centavos. Next is the butter. The butter costs 25 centavos per gram. The recipe requires 22.5 grams, meaning we're going to multiply 0.25 and 22.5 equals 5 pesos and 62 centavos. Cost per ingredients as required amount of recipe. 125 grams of bread flour cost 6.87 pesos. 5 grams of yeast cost 1 pesos and 50 centavos. 1 piece of egg costs 8 pesos. 130 milliliter of evaporated milk costs 19.37 pesos. 15 grams of sugar costs 1 pesos and 20 centavos. 3 grams of salt costs 30 centavos. 22.5 grams of butter costs 5.62, with a total of 42.86 pesos capital per recipe. In business, we also add other expenses, such as LPG costs 20 pesos, water costs 20 pesos, and also the labor, 50 pesos, with a total of 90 pesos. Now, we're going to add the capital of ingredients, which is 42 pesos and 86 centavos, and other expenses, which is 90 pesos, with a total capital of 122.86 pesos. Now, we're going to determine the price of our piece of dinner roll. Note, let's say you produce 10 pieces of dinner roll per recipe. So before we go on to determine the price of dinner roll per piece, of course, we're going to add 40% markup as your profit. So our capital is 122.86 multiply 40% is equals to 49.144 markup profit. So we're going to add the capital plus the markup. 122.86 pesos capital plus 49.144 pesos markup is equals to 172.004. 172.004 is the collecting money if all the 10 pieces of dinner roll will be sold. To determine the price of her piece, we're going to divide 172.004 divided by 10 pieces of dinner roll equals 17.2004. We round up into whole number, so the price of dinner roll per piece is 17 pesos.